Hello and welcome to the Voice with Action podcast. I am here today with Eileen, and Eileen is our brand new finance and business manager for ORR, and we absolutely love having her a part of our team. And so she got to recently go to West Africa with us, and I was there for a little part of her trip. So I wanted to hear about her time there and what it was like to see all of our work firsthand. So Eileen, just give a little background, because you've been involved in ministry and you've taken other trips too. Do you want to give a little background? People love on this podcast, also love kind of to personally know you, so just a little personal update about your life and outside of ORR.
Perfect. Yep. So prior to being with ORR, I worked for a Christian school. I was their marketing and admissions director. I worked there for about 8 years, I believe, with them, with the company volunteering and also doing other things for over 10 years, and worked with the church as well. And, as being a part of OR was completely God thing. And I'm just so blessed, to be here. I have 6 kids. We have a blended family, from 36 years old, 30, all the way down to 21. And we'll have 6 great grandchildren by the end of the year.
Wow.
And so on the side, my husband and I, we do a lot of coaching. So I coach cheerleading for the high school, that at the school still, and then at the local college here. So we like to keep busy, but I love it. I don't know what I don't sit still well.
I know, it's great. And so you and your husband were able to go to West Africa with us. So
yes.
What was that like? Had you ever been to Africa before?
No, but it was always a dream to be able to be there since I was a young kid, to be able to go and serve and do some mission work out there was always a desire, but I just didn't know how I was going to make a way because life was so busy. But God made a way, and just to see what's happening out there was just absolutely amazing.
What was one of your first impressions?
Well, when we landed, I was just super excited. It was a long trip. When we got the first day, we got to the orphanage out there, and just to see the kids and how excited they were to see us, and them giving us hugs and holding our hands. It was just overwhelming, and just to see what is happening there was just like, wow. It's hard to sleep that night because it's so exciting.
Yeah, because I know kind of chronologically, weren't you able to go visit one of our brand new villages? Because in case people don't know, we are now in 10 villages. So you were able to go visit one of them. What did you all do?
We, that was, again, amazing. We got to hear testimonies of several children with our translator, and just hearing how they were able to connect with ORR and just their testimony, how they were saved from slavery, how they had been blessed by ORR. Each one of them says, we're just so happy that we get to have 3 meals a day. We're not being beaten anymore. I don't have to work in the farms, and they get to be with their families. So those testimonies hit really pretty hard, and, it was touching, and just listening to their testimonies, you couldn't help but, tear up, to hear what they went through and how they are doing now. So what ORR is doing out there in those villages is, God is at work, and he's continuing to save more children. And that was just, it was amazing.
Wow.
We saw all these people in these white t-shirts, and it was a walk for Jesus. Yeah. And so that was something that, they would never have done.
Yeah. And I've never seen people, walking around with shirts about proclaiming, Jesus is Lord, and wanting to pray for people. Yes. It was amazing to see. I thought, oh my goodness, this is total. The move of God is happening where we're working. And it's really exciting to see.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so like, everybody's in these white t-shirts just walking the streets, and we had to pull over, and our translator,
Yeah.
ask them what are you guys doing? And they're
Yeah.
just saying they're sharing the word of Jesus and sharing the gospel. It's like, wow,
Yes. Yes. And it was all
Mhm.
locals. Like none of it was,
Yes,
no one was international people traveling in the country. It was
that's
all
right.
local people sharing the gospel
Mhm.
with their community. And that's what
Oh,
I
and there
love
were
the most.
hundreds of them.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
just amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So part of your trip was also practical because you were working with
Mhm.
our accountants and doing some training. What was that?
Yes. It was, great to see their processes and procedures that they're doing out there, and just get to meet them face to face, because I was, met them on Zoom, being able to sit down with them and see what their needs were, how could I support, what procedures we needed to put in place that were not done. So it was great to be out there first touch and work with them and make sure and get them organized and ready to go.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my team from my church came in kind of
Mhm.
halfway through your trip, and we were able to go together to
Yes.
dedicate one of our freedom centers. And the person that funded that freedom center, she was there, and she was able to share why she wanted to build this building. And pretty much it was ultimately the heart behind it was to provide a place that we could run our programs from, but also that ultimately Jesus's love could shine. And so we prayed for people in the community. And I loved like what was, and James, who is Eileen's husband, he was also there, and we would pray for people. And so what was that like for both of you as a couple to be doing ministry together as a couple?
It was great. We prayed together with families and kids. Just to be a part of that experience was a blessing. To see the needs, and
Mhm.
excited to go out there again and find out what prayers were answered, what needs were
Yeah.
met. We got to help feed, the kids. We were serving them when we were all out there, so that was a great experience to be part of the ribbon cutting. So the whole ministry that ORR is doing, and how, God is bringing people that are just, calling them to be there and helping what's happening out there, is just,
Mhm.
it doesn't go unnoticed. It's just like every day there's something big, somebody, a testimony, a prayer is answered. Um, God is doing some big things out there, and just being able to witness that firsthand.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was hard you're just in awe every day.
Yes. Do you have any specific story that comes to
um,
mind?
I do actually. When we were at the church, our country director's church, on a Sunday, and we were praying with families, and many of the needs are financial. People
Mhm.
need help with, one lady in particular. She was trying to become pregnant, and she
Mhm.
was like, so that was one gal. I just, for some reason, it just kind of stuck with me.
Mhm.
So she's had a couple, she's lost a couple of her babies. And so we just really prayed, and I'm just looking forward to seeing, going back out there again in November. And I says, I just know God's going to work with you on this pregnancy, and
Mhm.
you're going to have this little beautiful baby. And she was just, when she first came and prayed with us, she was just so stoic. She looked upset. By
Mhm.
the time I was like, smile, God's got you. And she was just happy and hugging me and smiling by the end that we got done praying.
Mhm.
So just to be able to pray with everybody and give them,
Yeah.
hope, and just know that God is going to answer their prayers, was a big thing. And that was
Mhm.
one testimony that just really stood out to me.
Yeah. The other thing I thought was really cool was your husband James wanted to go with you just to support you and be alongside you in ministry and
Yes.
see ORR. But we didn't realize even his kind of martial arts background and his
Uh-huh.
expertise with ultimately like self-defense, and so he even
Security.
had this like security. Yeah. So
Yeah.
would you share about his little impromptu training time with our security guard?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And he's actually still working, doing the training with them.
Wow.
So he did a martial arts training, because he did martial arts for, gosh, ever since he was a kid. And he was also in the military. So he was able, even at the orphanage, he was able to work with some kids and teach them some martial arts. but he had worked with the security guards and did a little training session with them on martial arts, on how to, protect our staff, and how to do certain moves with them and without, overly hurting somebody.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
had a good group that went in and they went to the office and trained.
Yeah, I loved hearing because we've had here on this podcast Rebecca's main bodyguard. He got on and
Yes.
shared, and at first our main bodyguard was, he's extremely fit, and he was a little bit like, what is it that you're going to teach me? And and immediately James, like, just for demonstration purposes, like had him in a headlock very quick.
Yes.
And I loved it that our security guard is like, okay, what, show me, how did you do that? That James is like, you don't have to have huge muscles. And actually, if you're lean,
Yes.
you can move faster. And so anyway, I just loved how excited our security guards were to learn from him, and just thinking about God's provision, like God is just bringing the right people at the right time, bringing you and your husband along at the right time. And
He
I just
enjoyed
love
helping
it.
them with security, like, we need to have people in these corners at all times. They should always be looking because, it was, he loves doing that. So,
Yeah, part of his skill set. I loved it.
yeah.
And even more, I mean, he was kind of a spiritual father figure, praying and even encouraging my own son got to go on this trip. So he was even encouraging my son just in his stepping out.
He loved his nights. He would spend, with our interpreter in the boys' dorm, and they would be talking about Jesus and talking about, life, and they were able to answer questions. So he was up, till as late as he could be with them, working and talking with them. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now because but he enjoyed it. It was life-changing for him as well.
Wow. So was there anything on the trip that was challenging for you?
No, I mean, I don't feel, aside from the heat and there wasn't anything. I went in very open-minded, expecting, just kind of prepared myself spiritually and mentally to see what I was going to go out there and see. And it was definitely hard hearing some of the stories, but to see the joy of the kids at the end and see the life-changing hear the life-changing testimonies was amazing. Even in our orphanage, how, hearing from the kids there, how they've lost their parents and how much, what OR has done for them. The apprenticeships that are going on out there for them after they graduate high school, just seeing those kids, just happy about what they're doing, doing hair, doing the sewing, doing, hearing our driver, how he was, part of our program. And now he went to a mechanic school and has his big dream. So just hearing all these kids that are in there now, kids who have graduated from, the orphanage or from, the villages. I got to, just being able to hear those stories was just life-changing for me. And made me, God knew that I had to be here.
Yeah. I was wondering, is there any major takeaway for you personally from this trip that God's still challenging, reminding you?
Just knowing that this is where God wanted me to be and needed to be. I don't know if I ever told you my testimony as far as coming, from where I was at the school to here. It was a very difficult decision because I wasn't looking for another job. So when I was presented with this position, I was like, wow, I wasn't looking, and let me just find out. And then I was offered the position. So I had to continue to pray on it. And I'm like, just, God, where do you want me to be? Where do you need me? And he just said, I need you here. I need you here. And being out there just kind of, solidified, like, now I know why I needed to be here.
Yes. Yeah.
So everything has been such a God thing that it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're grateful that you're a part of the team. And the Lord takes care of Orphan Relief and Rescue. And whenever we have a need, he really does provide in his right time. So,
Yeah.
and he's answering all of the prayers. So anyone out there that's been, a part of ORR for years, like back, we started in 2007, the Lord has heard every single one of your prayers and they're being answered. It's
Yes.
amazing how it's growing and absolutely saving lives and transforming a
Yes.
whole country. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be a part of. So often we close out this podcast just with any kind of encouragement for audience members. I'm curious, coming back from this trip, like sharing with people that haven't gone, what is the first thing that you want to tell them if they haven't gone or don't know about ORR? What's the first thing you want to tell them?
If you have an opportunity to go on one of our mission trips, I truly encourage you to do so. If that is not just, don't have the ability to do that, being able to donate towards ORR and what they're doing out there, because it truly makes a difference. It is, being feet on the grounds out there, seeing every day that what's happening in our orphanage and the different 10 different villages and the community centers. I was able to see firsthand that every penny makes a huge difference, and it's making a big difference and helping God do what, God's doing work out there, and he's always been able to provide. So anything helps, but I do encourage everybody to go on a mission trip because it's life-changing.
Yeah.
So, and being able to see what God's doing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, thanks. I agree. The dollar is stretched so far there,
Yes.
Whether it be a bag of rice or that can last a family for an entire month, to just a simple little school uniform that helps a child be able to attend school. I mean, it's very affordable. It goes really, really far. So if you want to learn more, you can visit us at orphanreliefandrescue.org, our website. And we loved having you on here, Eileen. We'll get you on next time, the next trip you go. So thanks so much.
Yes. Of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Voice with Action podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, would you consider sharing or subscribing to this podcast and leave a 5-star review to help us grow? If you want to reach us or help us end child trafficking in West Africa, go to orphanreliefandrescue.org. That's orphanreliefandrescue.org. See you next week.